Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. Today we will be discussing the 2024 election and specifically the recent polling coming out. So yeah, let's just get into it. So current polling right now is either completely dog shit or just normal polling. So what we've been getting from the past couple of days before the most recent polls is Kamala winning margins that aren't realistic at all. They're somehow beyond 2008 margins, which that doesn't make any sense. What happened to all of a sudden have a race bigger than 2008? She's winning it by like Lyndon B. Johnson margins, which that doesn't make any sense. What happened that all of a sudden she's winning margins that don't even make any sense? They're beyond 2008 margins when Barack Obama absolutely swept John McCain. So how did that happen? And then it immediately returned back to, oh, Trump is beating her by about 2 to 3 points, which is what happened before. So I guess the honeymoon ended pretty quickly in terms of the polling. So we're just back to reality now, and we got new polling out of Trafalgar, and it does not paint a pretty picture for Kamala Harris. So it's on state by state, and what we got right now: Arizona Trump +1, Nevada Trump +3, North Carolina Trump +4, Pennsylvania Trump +2, and Wisconsin Trump +1, Michigan Harris +2. So given that polling, even the polling is slightly more pro Harris, like let's say it's a point more pro Harris, then Trump would still win. It doesn't even include Georgia. It doesn't even consider Georgia a swing state. That's how much Trump is up. And it doesn't even matter if you shift the aggregate 1 point towards Kamala because Trump would still win. He would get Georgia, he would get Pennsylvania, and that's all he needs. And then he wins the entire election. North Carolina, it's not really a swing state. I don't know why Georgia is in here if North Carolina is. North Carolina is definitely a lot less competitive than Georgia, but Michigan is the only state that she's winning, and there's a reason why. It's because she's doubled down on the radical base and has completely abandoned Jewish voters in favor of her Hamas caucus, which not exactly a great electoral strategy, especially for a state like Pennsylvania, where it just so happens that a lot of Jews live. And if you don't win that state, you lose the election. Whoever wins Pennsylvania, high likelihood that they win the presidency. Very low chance that you win Pennsylvania and don't win the presidency. Trump could win just Georgia, just Pennsylvania, he wins. Kamala, she needs to secure Pennsylvania because if she doesn't, Trump is likely to win. So it's a very important state. And if the only state you're winning is Michigan, which is the most liberal toss up state out of all of them, not exactly good. Trump is doing fairly well in Nevada, North Carolina, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona. He's winning all those states. Kamala, she only wins her Hamas caucus homeland, which is Michigan. And if she only wins Michigan, it is going to be a absolute firestorm. And she doesn't even win it by that much. She wins it by 2 points, which is less than Joe Biden won it in 2020. And really, it's going to be a harder time to win, especially the Senate race there and a lot of the House races too. And a lot of these places, you don't want that to happen because Trump winning Pennsylvania by 2 points, a ton of those House races there that are key toss-ups, you are going to have a much harder time actually winning. And if you got someplace like Nevada, Trump +3, that's almost a complete reversal of 2016 and 2020. He would win it by a bigger margin than Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden won it by. Arizona is just kind of Arizona. It doesn't really change much. The presidential election is kind of detached from whatever happens in Arizona, including the Senate election. Really, the only thing that can affect it is Trump carrying Kari Lake across the finish line. If Trump only wins it by 1, Ruben Gallego is likely to win, but still, the Senate race in Arizona doesn't really affect anything because Republicans are still likely to win the Senate race. made a prediction on it, and you can click the video if you really want to. But Nevada, Trump plus 3, North Carolina, Trump plus 4, which means that he's probably winning a bunch of House districts there too, which could decide who controls the House because North Carolina recently redistricted. They have a lot more Republican favorable seats there, and you're seeing districts that normally would have voted Democrat. You're seeing them flip towards the Republicans, and that could decide who controls the House. So you really don't want that. Polling like this in supposedly the honeymoon period where the DNC hasn't even happened yet. This should be honeymoon period for Kamala Harris because it's only been 20 days since she kicked Joe Biden out of the White House and beheaded him on stage. And she picked Tim Walz, not exactly a great pick. And I seem it seems after the Tim Walz pick, the honeymoon period was over. She could have kept it going for a little bit longer, but Tim Walz, that kind of killed it because he's got a lot of scandals. He's not exactly what you would call a moderate. I mean, literally a week ago, he was talking about how great socialism is and how it's just another person's neighborliness, which have fun convincing people like that in, say, Florida, where there's a lot of Cubans there. Have fun convincing people in California, where a lot of people from China live. So, really, is that a great strategy? And is taking polling like this when you got all your Democrat polls, you got all your fake Democrat polls to pump some PR into your campaign, taking those for granted is not exactly good because as soon as the polls go back to reality, you're not getting a massive donor push and a massive media barrage because they can only keep it up for so long. As soon as the honeymoon is over, which is it's seeming like it is, you are going to have all of these polls revert back to Trump beating Kamala. And given the fact that the DNC hasn't happened yet, what you don't want is Trump leading the polls again and kicking your ass. And especially if you do a debate before the DNC, which isn't very likely, but God forbid they do a debate before the DNC, you might actually get replaced. Is it very likely? No. Joe Biden, he had a 50-50 shot of getting replaced. Kamala, practically non existent. But if they keep this up, you are going to have an infinitely harder time winning the election because right now she's got all her puff posts and all of her Democrat backed polls keeping her alive and saying, oh, I'm going to expand the map. I'm going to win all the toss ups. You can only keep that up for so long because Trump, he's going on the attack. And as soon as you debate him, it is very likely that the polls get infinitely worse and you have an infinitely harder time of even breaking into your Democrat leaning states because call me a predictor, but I'm just going to say it. As soon as the debates are over with Kamala Harris and Donald Trump, you're going to see the map reopen again, like after the first debate with Joe Biden. And it's not going to be pretty, especially since it's going to be very, very close to Election Day. And early polling and early voting is already going to be underway. So don't exactly want that to happen. Kamala, she's in a very, very tight position. And if she doesn't navigate it responsibly, she is going to lose. And picking Tim Walz is not a great pick. Taking polling for granted when they are very biased towards you is not a great option. And being unlikable and sticking to the teleprompter all the time and not practicing being, authentic or being a human being is not good, especially since you agreed to a debate and Trump wants 3 debates, and would be very hypocritical if you do not agree to those 3 debates. So you're going to get 3 debates of you walking on stage, acting like not even a person, just acting like some dysfunctional android, walking around the stage talking about Venn diagrams and electric school buses. That doesn't bode well with people who are voting early and people who vote on election day, because a lot of those people don't know who you are. And if their first impression of you is, oh, this bitch is so awkward, I don't want to vote for her, I'm just going to vote for the orange man who completely destroyed her on the debate stage and is rightfully pointing out the fact that she is extremely radical and has a radical VP pick, you are going to lose. And Trump, he just needs to keep up his personal momentum. Go through all the fake momentum, slice it in half, kill all the momentum for Kamala, because she's probably going to kill most of it herself, and just go on the attack. Go on the debate stage. Completely wipe the floor with her, and you will have a victory. But, anyways, make sure to like and subscribe, comment down below, and yeah, we'll see you guys next time. Bye.